Did I need to come through here? Let me load that really quick. Let's see here. Thanks for the sub over on Twitch, Srirachi. Appreciate it. Man, I'm using Stream Elements again this morning. And one thing I really don't like about Stream Elements is I get no on-screen notifications when someone has subbed on Twitch or YouTube. So if I am delayed on saying thank you, that's on, you know, me. Streamlabs has been continuing to give me issues. I tried to use it again yesterday afternoon, and it gave me issues again. I swear to God, I'm just tired of Streamlabs, or there's new configurations. I don't know. They seem to always be messing up, and I'm tired of complaining about it. So I've been using Streamlabs a lot the last few days because it works. However, it does not have the same. There's a big difference between a free thing and a paid thing, if that makes sense. Like when I'm using Streamlabs, which I pay for, it's got all these nice features that help me see things on stream so I can pay attention when people are subscribing, donating, super chatting, membershiping, all that other stuff when somebody joins as a new member. Stream Elements doesn't show me shit. And so it's like I just have no clue sometimes. I lose it in the stream chat. So thank you, Darchi over on Twitch for that. I appreciate it. I know that was a delayed reaction. You might not still be around. But if you are, thanks.
I'll meet you out on the landing pad once this is done.
I'm going to go back because I missed somewhere because I was skipping through the dialogue because I was perturbed by that audio thing. 58. Let's look at this really quick. Because she said something about the hatch and a key if I wanted to kill her, but if I didn't want to kill her, but they might have said how to get to her, and that's the point I'm confused on.
If you're done, evaluating.
Yep. Test your controls, purge oxygen, return to root, logs. Okay, this is the part where I just missed what she said.
Hold the results of the experiment will be.
Yes, our next step.
You'll need to convince her, destroy her logic, end this research for
Okay, how are we
all
gonna do
it
that?
requires is a forceful array of
You mean one of our... That's what the...
Make
Okay,
Brun
yeah,
give
we already
up
heard
on
this.
science, logic.
Oh, that's hype.
And here I thought you'd begun to change.
So I would be willing and on hand to assist. And the other option would remain if we botch
I
it.
should try to undermine. Yeah, let's convince her she's a failure.
Thank you.
Honestly, I'm relieved.
From the legend.
Okay, this is
If
where
you're
okay.
retiring but in the event you should fail, you'll need a viable back. The Anchors is housed in a test chamber similar to this one.
Okay.
It's been refurbished with some rather tacky furniture. There
Okay.
is a hatch near the elevator upstairs.
Upstairs.
An external ledge lead. I'll need to make an announcement afterward.
For next step.
I'll cut off her comms when she begins pleading.
All right, so I needed to go
Yep,
back
and
upstairs.
there's
That's the part I got confused on. Okay. And yet, here we go. Anchor's Brun. There we go. I just didn't realize I was supposed to use the elevator. It's like what I'm supposed to use the hatches again.
There you are. You saw the experiment through to the end, yes? The data hasn't arrived yet, so please do tell. Was it as beautiful as I imagined? Any inklings to the result? Perhaps I oughtn't have recloistered myself till after the experiment concluded, hmm? Well, don't just stand there. Tell me everything.
Tell me everything. Hate to break it to you, but the experiment failed spectacularly.
What? No. It... It couldn't. It... Wait. Wait. Let's start from the beginning.
Hyperventilating.
Step me through your understanding of what's gone awry.
Well, the experiment was deeply flawed on a conceptual level.
Really? In what way?
I thought you were meticulous.
Solving the universal equation demands considerable thoroughness, but also requires all possible efficiency. Though, that said, it's true that we must guard against skimping unduly, to any extent that might introduce error. This was just a start. Such models typically make an enormous amount of errors at first. All quite expected, an anticipated setback, nothing more. It simply needs to be revised and refined. You certainly seem to be making a lot out of this, though, one must say.
Empress Chow doubted your plans. Her final words claimed you'd been swayed by flattery.
I miss her skepticalness and insight. If we could agree on a topic, there could be little doubt in its logic and rectitude. Look, there may be some validity to some of your points, yes. But we'll improve. We will continue to stride forward. There's absolutely no need for all this doom and gloom.
I don't have a science thing. Our predictions imply both are inevitable if you pursue this.
Oh, is one of you a seer now? Because I put considerable more stock in the prognostications of the Order's prime mathematicians than I do any old run-of-the-mill soothsayer. Now, is that all? Because I think I've had enough of all this. Everything we've done here is built off Seer Bujold's research, which is quite
I don't have
brilliant.
science, so I'm probably not going to be able to convince her. Oh, well, I got a speech option.
Really? Will I become a laughingstock among my peers? Have the whispered jeers begun already? No. No. Calm down. Breathe. You've faced setbacks before. Ah, the experiment data just arrived in my terminal. Allow me to eyeball it a moment. Perhaps there's something here to help prove or disprove any of what you've been
I don't know if
saying.
I've done a very good job with those.
There was some variance to the input data. Not far beyond acceptable parameters, but curious. Could explain the failure.
You're grasping.
Oh, come. One bad test wouldn't mean the science is completely flawed. This has been a difficult conversation. Challenging, disputatious, at times compelling. Yet I remain unswayed.
If I may, I have a point I'd like to add.
By all means.
There's a critical flaw in Seer Bujold's approach I think best illustrated by this English phrase. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana. I much appreciate this jest. Very simple, yet clever. Because in English, the word like can mean similar to or I prefer. And flies can be to soar, or plural of the insect. Through this perspective, it functions, makes sense, is humorous even. But in another language where words' meanings differ slightly, it does not. The framework we interpret the statement from changes, thus rendering it uninterpretable. False. Bujold's method of shortcutting the universal equation is much the same.
It lacks context. When you extrapolate the data from the mini-universe to the larger one, the information itself may scale correctly, but fail to interrelate. This little colloquy has proven rather arduous, and your points fail to... Wait. Considered as a whole... Damn it. No, I see it now. You are correct. We have obstinately and misguidedly blundered along here. The flaws in Bujold's research now seem apparent. Time for me to admit my errors. I'll need to inform everyone. Shut down research and operations. What will I do now? There's no place for me. Go. Leave me be.
Our work here is done, it seems.
I agree.
Fellow scholars of the Order, this is Anchoress Byrne. With an unfortunate announcement. Our experiment today was a failure.
Now I wonder if that means
Our
I
line
can
of inquiry
immediately.
has proven intrinsically flawed.
Hey, Commander. I wanted to apologize for the way I handled things after Greater Tranquility.
Yeah,
I've
you're
also
fine,
given
buddy.
some thought to what you said about seeking peaceful resolutions. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. We can get back to them. Sure. Always happy to tool around for a bit. What did you have in mind?
So no upgrades for now. But we have completed her quests, so. Oh, are we gonna have to fight our way out? Something turned red for a minute on my way down.
I understand now why they say never meet your heroes, Intercessor Delgado. You've truly been an enormous disappointment. A key experiment fails and Anchoress Brun abandons vital research right after you and your consort arrive. And we are all to believe these events were unrelated?
That's circumstantial and more than a mite bit paranoid. I expect better from an Order scientician. Even one from the Department of Applied Scientism.
Don't think I don't see your handprints all over this, Delgado.
What? When you operate outside normal models like we do, anomalous events just tend to occur.
Sounds like a glorified way to describe agents of disruption. I'm skeptical that you lacked a part in all this. Suppose
Skepticize
you'll
all you
claim
want.
this was all just coincidence. A misaligned series of mishaps that simply appear to be your fault.
Anchoress Brun talked a good game, but overlooked the shoddy science involved in the test.
The Anchoress is one of the finest minds the Order has ever produced. I'm well versed in manipulative prevarication from feckless mutineers. Try again. Or try facing a gauntlet of well-trained exemplars. I could always choose for you.
Damn. What? That's a level 20 speech check. Holy shit. I think I'm only 17. I have finally hit. That's my second check I've failed in the game. There was a lockpick that was 17, and now a speech check that's 20. I'm gonna try to lie.
Really? You don't say. I know you're to blame. I just wanted to see how far you were gonna take this. I can't believe Anchoress Brun fell for any of it. Fellow exemplars of the Order, commence hostilities!
Okay, so there is no way out of that. Wrong. I didn't have my guns ready or anything.
Taking the fight out of them.
I'm so screwed.
Back and scan.
Hold up. I need to get on my time device. No. Time device.
Reviving me is in everyone's best interest.
Wrong weapon. Fuck, I don't have it equipped. Fuck, I'm gonna die. I don't have any companions up. That was bad. I didn't have any of my weapons ready or anything. I was on the sniper dialogue. Sniper weapon. He's already down.
Fortification in progress. Targeting me is strategically optimal. Grenade in
Let them run around, do their thing. Peek your head out. Shit more outside. This gun is not my favorite. I need to revive my companions, but I'm terrified to try to peek my head out here. Okay. Where is she at?
Thank you, dear. Target analyzed.
Well, you shouldn't have peeked your head out there, buddy. Why is he not done? Okay, hold up. God damn it. Alright, he's down.
Thank you, dear. Check
Wait,
your
is this
scopes for combatant
somebody right
analysis.
over here? Hiding?
Try to simplify. Combatant scanned. Would not refuse medical support.
You're down again? Jesus, she dies all the time, man.
on their weaknesses.
I am becoming irrationally angry.
Adversary vulnerabilities identified.
Don't run in front of me when I'm firing.
Raider is charged. Target analyzed. Lay down fire. Combatant scan. For combatant analysis.
Closing on a perceived threat.
Adversary vulnerabilities
Yeah, I
identified.
see him. Oh, I did not mean to throw a grenade. Stop! Come back here. Alright. Well, I can tell you one thing I'm going to do immediately is I got to shoot for max speech. I don't want to fail any speech checks ever again. And if we're already hitting 20 level speech checks, I got to max out my speech as quickly as possible. Okay, let's double check. That sucked. That's the first speech check I've failed in the whole game. Grim Visage. I needed perk Intimidator for that. Where the hell was Intimidator? You know, I just realized that for all this time, that there are icons on all of these that tell you what they are. Like there's a wrench icon. I'm an idiot. A gun icon, everything else. I never noticed that until just now. Probably time to get rid of this shotgun and move to something a little better, like a better shotgun. Have to go pay attention. Pills. I actually finally burned some inhaler charges that time. Heavy machine gun. We'll take it just to sell. There's my ship. Oh no. Hang on. I missed the loot. I missed the loot. Gotta go back up.
who it is. The legendary former head intercessor of the Order. Another mission successfully completed. Made it through all that without a scratch, hmm? Glad to see. Here's a future I'd always hoped for. You... you listened. Didn't just rush in like, I am Marisol Delgado. I am always right, even when I'm wrong.
The credit or blame belongs to the commander here. It was their decision, ultimately.
You forget I know you. You always thought you knew better. No one could ever convince you of anything. Before, that is. Good to see. Maybe you are facing yourself.
Yeah, I already talked about
There
that
are a
back
few
when the
things I'm
Rogue
still
Ally
not used to
dropped.
saying.
Roberta,
I was wrong.
I'm loving it.
I'm sorry.
Like the Rogue
Please.
Ally is
And thank
literally
you.
the future of
But
Xbox. It's not about
thank you,
consoles for them. It's
Anais.
about
At any
ecosystem.
rate, I'm off.
So that
You all take care now.
is their initial
Marisol,
offering,
don't be
which
too
is a handheld,
enigmatic or
and then the
anything.
next one will be the next
Try.
Xbox
Before I
console
forget. Meant to give you
is
this
going to
earlier.
be a all-in-one. It's going to be a miniature gaming PC for
thank you,
people who don't need to go spend
Anais.
$4,000 on a gaming PC. You'll be able to spend
Goodbye.
$1,000 and you will have a console that runs everything that Xbox ever sells in terms of console games, and also access to all the PC games and all the PC libraries. So you'll be able to play your GOG games, your Steam games, your Epic games. You will be able to play everything you can right now. You can play everything you have or want or own or will ever buy on the Rogue Ally handheld, other than PlayStation exclusives. And the next Xbox console is going to take that handheld technology into an actual console slash. So yeah, you'll even be able to play World of Warcraft on that machine. You won't need to go buy a separate gaming PC. You'll be able to do it all in one place. So this idea of console wars, that's yesterday. That's like 10 years ago. There is no console war. There is just ecosystems. And yeah, there's not going to be a reason to own a PlayStation beyond the next generation of consoles unless PlayStation offers a similar ecosystem. Because anybody who's a gamer is going to go, well, I have a limited budget. I'm not a huge content creator. Do I need two consoles? Why? I mean, PlayStation is what, five exclusives a year, six exclusives a year? Is Are six exclusives in a year worth buying that console? No, they're not. Everybody's going to go buy an Xbox console. It's, you know, because it's not about the console anymore. It's about um, the ecosystem. Yeah, and PC Master Race that was 25 years ago. It hasn't been like that for 25 years. It hasn't been since we entered the first generation of I can play games on Nintendo, I can play games on the PlayStation, I can play games on the Xbox, or I can play games on PC. I can play games everywhere. I'm going to own everything. I'm going to have one of every console and a gaming PC, and then I get to play games wherever the fuck I want. And I'm not bound to a system. And I'm really happy to see the evolution of gaming because um, I've always preferred consoles to PC. I don't want to sit here and play mouse and keyboard, and I won't even play games on mouse and keyboard anymore. Like if a game comes out and says we're only mouse and keyboard, I generally don't play those games. If it doesn't offer at the very least controller support on PC, I won't even touch it. But it's also extremely cost prohibitive. It's a $4,000, maybe $3,000 for a entry level gaming PC. $3,000. And I don't want to hear any of this bullshit about, oh, just build your own. You can do it for $2,200. Average gamer, the average schmuck, like my brother. My brother's not a schmuck. My brother has done game development, but I use him as an example because he only plays two new releases a year, and he can't be bothered with owning a gaming PC anymore because he has a ranch. But my brother is the perfect example of that because he can't be bothered. He's like, why do I want to go spend $3,000, $4,000 on a gaming PC? Um, I'm not going to build one myself. He did build one himself 10 years ago, and he has no desire to do that ever again. He's like, that was too much work. I just want to be able to buy something out of the box that works. And when you offer the average gamer a $1,000 Xbox console that does everything in one place and gives you high fidelity graphics, they're going to go spend the $1,000 to get that all in one console. They're not going to go spend $3,000 on a gaming PC, and they're certainly not going to, try to buy parts and build a PC for $2,200 because I could do it cheaper than they sell the gaming PC. None of that represents the average gamer. So yeah, it's a win for Xbox. Big, 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 big win.
Oh, Brun obviously murdered her. Thought you knew that. Perhaps it was an accident. Perhaps she simply wanted to knock Chow unconscious so she could sneak away.
That's
Or
why I buy
not.
laptops, JK, for
Indefinite
sure.
immurement isn't for everyone. Even the finest minds may crack under the strain. But her canned feigned concern about Chow, how she kept changing the subject,
I haven't
both
had a
belied an underlying sense of guilt to
desktop
me.
since 2007. I doubt I will ever own a desktop ever again.
Oh,
I
not really.
just love I
Not
love
yet, at any
laptops.
rate. Everything's a bit raw right now. But suppose I will be. Thank you, dear.
No
Seer
one
sure
can
was
sanction
something.
spending $3,000,
Hope you didn't
$4,000.
take any
Not
of her
unless
harsher comments to heart.
you're a PC extremist. If you're a PC extremist or that PC master race bullshit mentality, then you're going to be willing to spend $4,000 because that's your only hobby. Like, you don't do anything else. That's your primary hobby. You love gaming on the PC. You love tricking out your rig. You love having the max amount of RAM, the best graphics card, and that's where you put all of your spare money. If that's you, that's fine, but that is not the average gamer. The average gamer says, how can I play games cheap? You know, and Xbox is winning. I mean, I see a lot of people who are like, oh, $30 a month for Xbox Game Pass. If the only platform you play on is Xbox and you own an Xbox console, right? If the only thing you own is an Xbox console and you're paying $30 a month and you get access to hundreds of games plus new releases like every month, there's brand new new releases on that platform, you're winning. You don't need to have all these other subscriptions. Now, if you're a content creator, maybe that's a different story. But like, you own a next generation Xbox console and you can play new releases on GOG, new releases on Epic, new releases on Steam, and new releases on Xbox or PC Game Pass. Like, that's winning. Why do I need a Switch 2? Why do I need, I don't need any of those things at that point.
Commander, it's customary to... I've had some time to cogitate over what occurred at Point Obviation.
Yeah, it's a big win for
Some
Microsoft.
parts don't sit right with me
Short
still.
term,
Wonder
bunch
if
of
you and
grumpy
I might
people
talk
about
it
the
through.
$30 increase. But outside of that, like, the concept of running World of Warcraft, as an example, on the not just that, but like, I can go play Lord of the Rings Online or Star Wars: The Republic on that console, and it will have built-in support. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing, like built-in controller support and everything, because it's just, I mean, it's pretty awesome. Oh, $30 a month is definitely worth it when you consider that a lot of people will not be playing the big games. They'll be playing. Have you ever looked at Xbox Game Pass, Dark Lord? Have you actually looked at Game Pass? It's not all about big, huge games that take months to complete. It is tons of short, little, fun co-op games, multiplayer games, games that you play with your friends across multiple devices, games that you play with your family members, games that are quick hop in, hop out, nothing you have to worry about, no long-term commitments, and deep RPGs on top of there. It's definitely worth it for people who play a lot of games on and just like gaming in general. It's not worth it for people who only play 2-3 games a year, but those aren't your normal gamers. If you're only playing 2 or 3 video games a year, you're not really a gamer at that point. You're an extremely casual tourist who hops in. You know, you enjoy gaming, but you're not really. I mean, gamers, if we're talking technically speaking, these are the people who are going to play almost every single day of the week. Not for work, just because they love gaming. That's their primary hobby. And for those people, $30 a month is definitely worth it. That's it. So that's how my brother does it, John. He runs a base Xbox subscription for access to all the online multiplayer stuff and then the Game Pass content. And then every few months when there's like some new games that he wants to try out or something, he will buy the Ultimate for like a month, maybe 2 months, play all the games that he wanted to play that were at the Ultimate level, and then drops back down to the normal. It's a huge win. Like if as an example, this is $100. I think I spent more than $100 for the Ultimate Edition and the Early Access, right? I wanted to pre-order the DLCs and everything else. If I didn't want to pay the $100 for this, I wait till it starts on Game Pass. What if I still don't want to spend $70 or $60, whatever the base cost of this game is? I just 1 month of Game Pass, I got it for $30. I play the game, I beat the game, I cancel my subscription. I just played Outer Worlds 2 for $30. I didn't have to spend $70, $80, or $100. Oh, but I don't own it. We already covered that the other day. Like, owning a game doesn't mean shit. Owning a physical piece of the game, owning a physical copy of the game doesn't mean shit. Because in 10 years, you won't be able to play that physical thing anymore. Because the hardware will have moved beyond. And unless you're an expert at repairing old hardware, or you're lucky enough to hold on to all these old consoles, you're never going to be able to own that and play that indefinitely. We already talked about this yesterday, the people who are like, I want to own it physical. Okay, are you still playing your Mario Brothers copy from 1986 on an original Super Nintendo or original Nintendo Entertainment System? No, you're not, because pretty much all Nintendo Entertainment Systems have quit working at this point. The handful that are repaired were repaired by specialists, and good luck finding a cartridge that's still working after 40 years. When the inner workings of a cartridge have oxidized and rusted and etc. Owning physical media doesn't mean shit. Good luck playing cassette tapes from 1980. You think your Beastie Boys cassette tape from 1983 is still going to be playable in 2025? You're delusional if you're someone who sits there and thinks that, oh, I need to own my physical media. I own it forever. No, you don't. You own a copy of something, but technically you're just licensing that copy. And good luck touching it and doing anything with it 25 years from now. Play the game, beat the game, move on to the next game. There is, you can't take it with you. This whole concept of, I don't want to rent a game, I want to own it, that's on you. That's a you problem. Because you could totally play this game for $30 and move on about your life and never need to spend $70, $80 if you don't want to. But if you're stuck in that, I have to have physical media, that's a you problem.
A bit, yes. With the work I used to do, I'm no stranger to guilt and regret. Midway into my requisite
Correct,
sleep cycle
Transcend.
is when
Global
it usually
pricing
plagues
is an
me the
issue,
most.
for sure.
With Anchoress Brunn, I know what we did was right. I know it saved lives. But we tricked her. Forced her to doubt her mind. You heard her. She's not just dissuaded. We broke her. And yet, such actions were par for the course for me in the past. When my remorse for Brunn rears its head, it will need to get in line. Yes, Southworth was complicit. And now she's dead. Well, one hopes. According to Anais, we greatly reduced the likelihood of that occurring. It's not zero, but completing the brain off lowered the chance significantly.
Alright. Any other old flames that might threaten the fate of the galaxy?
Let's say there are no present perils from my romantic past I'm aware of, though I can't rule it out completely. No, I'm thinking more about Anais.
I'll give you another example here in a
That
second.
we listened to her concerns, so I've changed apparently, thanks to you.
It's been a while since anyone gave me a good talking to. Like, I'm pleased with the path I'm on now. Appreciate you taking the time to talk it over.
So I'll give you a perfect example. I own in a box at my brother's house collector's editions. I have 2 collector's editions of Vanguard Saga of Heroes that I spent several $100s on many years ago. They were the last versions of physical media that I ever bought. That was the game that made me say I am never going to focus on physical media ever again for anything. Because what happened to that game? It got sunset. I can't play that game anymore. Even if I wanted to play Vanguard Saga of Heroes, those discs and all of the collector's items that came with it are nothing more than wall ornaments at this point. Can't do anything with those things. So when I look at people who have an obsession with owning physical media, I just kind of chuckle. If you want to own physical media for the cool things in the box, like the cloth map and the memorabilia, that's legitimate for sure. Having cool shit to hang on your wall and put on a shelf and sort of flex that I was there, I did that, I owned absolutely 100%. But don't come at me with this whole I want to own it so that I can play it forever, because that doesn't exist. It doesn't matter if we're talking a CD-ROM copy or a DVD copy of a game from, that's what, 15 years ago? Almost 20 years ago, I guess. Or if we're talking about your version of Mario Brothers from whenever that game came out, 88, 86, or whatever, for the Nintendo Entertainment System. You're not playing Mario Brothers in 2025. You're not playing an original cartridge of Mario Brothers on an original Nintendo Entertainment System in 2025. You're not. I'm sorry, you're not. Not unless you're an extremist collector. And by extremist collector, I mean someone who has a working Nintendo Entertainment System from the 1980s that has somehow managed to be repaired or made it to this point, and you have a working condition cartridge, which is another thing that's extremely out of the ordinary. You're just not. What you're doing is you're playing emulator versions of Mario Brothers that have been transported into digital format, and you're playing an emulated version. Or, like, as an example, wasn't it a few years ago they sold like a modern edition of the Nintendo original, like a modern version of the Nintendo Entertainment System, which was a miniature version, but it had a huge disk drive in it with like 150 games. I don't remember how many games were in it. I'm being hyperbolic for the sake of exaggeration, but that's, you're not, there was no physical media. You don't own anything. You basically own a hard drive at that point with a Nintendo Entertainment System box around it, like a miniature version of the original Nintendo Entertainment. There's no physical media. You didn't buy cartridges. There were no boxes. There were no slip cases. None of that stuff. So this whole idea that I have to own the media, I have to own the game. Well, first and foremost, you never own it in the first place because you're just licensing it, which we just talked about a few minutes ago. But the obsession with physical media is like, I can't think of, I haven't played a Nintendo Entertainment System game since I was 12 years old. I haven't played a Super Nintendo game since I was 15 or 16 years old. I haven't played a PlayStation 1 game since I was 22, 23 years old. I haven't played a PS2 game since I was 25 years old. I haven't played a PS3 game since I was 28, 29 years old. I haven't played a PS4 game since I was in my, late 30s. Like, the reality is gamers evolve with the platforms, and so we're playing on these modern platforms. We're not holding on to these things from 25 years ago. Anybody who claims that I have to own physical media, then why aren't you playing those games? Why aren't you playing your Mario Brothers on the original Nintendo Entertainment System? If you're so obsessed with owning physical media that you can play forever, then why the fuck aren't you playing that game forever? What's that? You like to play lots of new games? Well, then you're buying new games, and the evolution of new games is digital. It has been for 20 years. Like, the perfect example is that modern Nintendo Entertainment System that they sold, which had all those bundled games inside on a big disk drive. That's 100% digital. Like, again, owning collector's editions items is cool, but no one's playing physical copies of games from 40 years ago. Like, that's just not realistic. Well, that's another consideration too, John Coons. Like, hardware, we were talking about this the other day, I haven't owned a device with a disk drive in it since 2007. 100% of my laptops that I've purchased since 2008 have been diskless systems. What do I need a disk for? Who uses disks? We're living in 2025. Like, if you even look at, like, I think it's the PS5, like my version of the Xbox does have a disk drive in it because that's the only version that was available when I bought it. But like my PS5 Pro, no disk drive. The disk drive is sold separate because they're making the assumption that you're buying the digital version. Now, if you want to own the disc version, you can, and you can go out there and buy the discs to run in the PS5. But those discs to run in the PS5, those are not going to be usable in 10 years, 15 years, because that disc format will become obsolete. Again, we don't still play on 1985 cartridges. We don't still play. When I listen to music, I do not listen to music on a vinyl or a cassette or the hell with those they look like cartridges that you would put in. I forget the name of those. We don't listen to music on CDs anymore at all. We don't listen to music on iPads anymore. Streaming is how 99% of people access music these days, is via streaming. That's just facts. Oh, but I still listen to vinyls. I still listen to You are a collector. That is different. And 8 tracks. Thank you, Barbarossa. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly. Nobody's listening to music on 8 tracks anymore. You'll occasionally find some weird random dude on like TikTok who'll be like, I still have a perfectly working 8-track player and it rah, 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 rah. That's like one dude in a million. You know what I mean? Like, so owning physical media, okay, cool. You want to own it. Excuse me, you want to own a licensed copy. Make sure to make that distinction. You want to own a licensed copy of your games. That's cool. But just understand that in 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you're not going to be playing that game in that format. So just admit that you're doing it for the collector's items and that you're just doing it so that you can have a collection item to stick on your shelf. And then we'll admit that that's what you're really all about, because you're not actually about owning the game so you can play it forever. That is a myth. It is 100% a myth. Again, there might be one or two people out there. Somebody in chat just said, I still play my PS2 games on my PS2. You're the one in a million guys with an 8-track player that still works. I'm still going to play my 8-track music because that's the best format for music ever. I'm going to still play my PS2 games because that's the best format ever. That is one in a million. Like, those people are not the average gaming consumer. I don't know. I'm just saying. I have played every generation of games. I don't play old games. I play emulated versions of old games. I have legitimately went back and played 4 or 5 years ago. I went back and even 3 years ago, I played Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis 3 years ago. Here's a great example of that. This is the perfect example to finalize the thoughts on this discussion. I played Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis via a digitalized copy that I bought from GOG.com, right? The version that is sold through GOG.com has been it's been modified from the original version to run on a modern Windows operating system. Okay? If I tried to play that game on the original 3.5 discs or CD that it came on, whatever, I wouldn't be able to play it on a modern machine. I would have to have a 1990s computer with a 1990s series of disk drives, or I would have to buy specialty disk drives. But even then, the formatting of that game, graphically, we're talking the graphical format, because the game was meant to run at a specific resolution and a specific set of colors. My modern 4K monitor and 4K graphics card is not going to run a 1990s video game. It needs to have specialty compression techniques to modify that resolution to be able to be displayed on my modern machine and my modern operating system and my modern monitor, if you can say that 5 times fast. So I was able to play Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis because someone else had taken the time to do all those programming things for me and allow me to play that game on a modern machine. But if I went to my physical copy of Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis from the mid 90s and I tried to play that game on a modern machine, it wouldn't work. Modern machines don't come with those drives available anymore. Those, I don't have DOS. Like, the DOS is not an operating system. You know what I mean? Like, it, it no. It just doesn't work like that anymore. Like, and that's the thing when people come up with this physical media thing. I'm like, you're wrong. You're flat out wrong. That I'm gonna own it and I can play it forever. Bullshit. Bullshit. Someone else is gonna need to go out there and do the work to be able to make that 20-year-old game run on a modern machine. That's fact. Indiana Jones at Fatalist, all the Quest for Glory games, Betrayal at Krondor, the Space Quest games, King's Quest games. I have a whole series on my channel. I haven't done an episodes for several years now, but I have a series on my channel. I think it was called Point and Click Classics was the name of the YouTube playlist. And I did like Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers, Betrayal at Krondor, King's Quest 5, Quest for Glories 1 through 4, Indiana Jones with Fate of Atlantis, The Dig from Steven Spielberg, like Full Throttle. We went back and played a bunch of those games. None of those games, I didn't play a single one of those in physical media. I played them off of GOG.com because someone else has taken the time to modernize those games and make them run on a modern machine. I'm not going out there and digging through these boxes trying to find my old copies with like the 3.5 discs or the CDs from back then and then trying to figure out how to make that run on my modern machine with my modern. Again, Dribom, you're saying you can play those on a PC if you have an emulator. If you own the physical copy of the game, you can legally play the emulator. But that's the thing, there's additional steps. You're not just able to pull it out of the box and play it forever like some of these people claim. It doesn't work like that. In order to make those old games run on a new machine, you have to have, at the very least, you have to have an emulator, which means you can't just plug it in and play it. I'm going to own it and play it forever. No, you're not. Someone else is going to have done the footwork to make it run on a modern machine, whether it's via an emulator or via something like GOG, where you're just going to play a digital version of the game 25 years later. Or 30 years later or whatever. Yeah, it's not, this whole I have to own physical media thing it's malarkey. Right, and a lot of people don't even own PCs, correct. Alright, I'm going to restart the game again, because it's still doing that stupid audio thing. It looks good on your shelf. That's correct. Physical media looks great on your shelf. That's it. Looks good on the shelf. That's the only thing it does. My brother literally has a box of all my old games. I have the. I probably do need to restart the whole system because if it does it again, it's probably just it's something being cranky with the Xbox this morning. I've had this happen before. This happened when I was playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
I like the Order. They think big, even when they make mistakes, accidentally build a super weapon, and seal it away in the Earl.
Happens on the PlayStation less frequently, but it does happen usually on new releases. There's usually some audio issues from time to time. Anyway, my brother has a box at his place. In that box, I have my original copies of Baldur's Gate 1, which is that rectangular brown booklet that you open up and it had all the CDs in it. I have my original Baldur's Gate 2 copies, which is the old. It had a blue cover in a CD, and it was I think it was four CDs or four DVDs. I can't remember if they were CDs or DVDs, but it was 4 discs. I have collector's editions of EverQuest 2, collector's editions of Vanguard Saga of Heroes. Those are the ones I remember off the top of my head. I know there's some other stuff in that box. Oh, like Battle for Middle Earth, I think, is in there. There were some other games. Those are in a box and will never come out of a box because my brother doesn't own a machine that can play any of those games because none of those games will run on modern machines. Like, if you want to play a modern version of Baldur's Gate, like the enhanced, you have to go get the enhanced edition. That's literally how you play Baldur's Gate in the modern era, is you go buy the enhanced edition. You are not playing the original version of Baldur's Gate or Baldur's Gate 2 or Icewind Dale 1. You're not playing the original version of those games anywhere in 2025. You're playing the enhanced edition of those games because that's what you're going to find works on modern machines.